What have you accidentally conditioned your pet to do? When I was little I would constantly carry around one of my cats, Feist. Since my hands were full with her I would use one of her outstretched paws to turn on lights whenever we entered a room. Now the little bastard switches them on and off for fun. My cat was upset with me because I wouldn't get up to give him wet food, so he turned the fan off and looked me dead in the eye. Had the same yesterday. It was my highlight of the week. Our cat had impacted ill glands for a while. We had to bribe him with treats for him to let us look to make sure he was doing alright. Now when he wants a treat he comes up and sticks his butt in our face. I feel like this is the exact type of answer this question was fishing for, lol. Honestly couldn't be more perfect. My niece loves to FaceTime my mom to talk to her dog. When the dog was a puppy, my mom used to pull her onto her lap when she would get FaceTimed. Now the dog is 80 pounds and will jump in your lap if your phone or tablet starts making the default FaceTime ring. I had a wiener dog in the days before the internet, late 80s/early 90s. The local news came on every night at 10 o'clock. Our dog heard the news jingle 5 times a week at 10 and knew to come wrangle us all into bed. She made sure every single one of us were tucked in. My parents had another wiener dog later on, and there was a time where my kids and I had to go stay with my folks. My kids and I had a morning routine of getting ready for schoolwork. The dog picked up on this really quickly and started to beat my morning alarm to get the kids up. I often woke up to her barking at the kids to wake up. When I entered their room I would see this tiny dog trying to drag the kids out of bed, and it always makes me think of how the first dog we had was all about putting us to bed. Dachshunds are very motherly dogs, I've come to learn. It's 10 PM. Do you know where your humans are? I picked my kitten up a few times to kill some spiders up high for me. So now whenever I pick her up she looks up at the ceiling and looks for spiders. My cat will not kill bugs. She stares at them, follows them around, and will paw at them, W/O claws, but won't hurt it. I would love to be able to get her to kill a damn water bug, but she thinks they are just toys lol. Same thing with my cat. Recently a stink bug found its way into my room. I swatted it, but only managed to make it drop to the floor. I left it for my cat to toy with, but he was curious and slapped it around a few times, and didn't finish it off. My dog knew he would always get some ice to chew when I went to the fridge, so anytime he heard the ice machine on the fridge start he would come running in. Once he became deaf he would feel the vibrations in the floor from it and knew it was ice time. My dogs know the sound of ice too. We don't even use ice. It had been 100% from visitors. What do you mean you don't use ice? Like, for anything? Sorry, just trying to figure this one out, ha 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 ha. Somewhere along the way, my dog learned get your toy means to pick up his nearest toy. I didn't purposely train him to do it, but it's good for when he's about to leave one of them outside and I want him to bring it in. If there's no toy around and I say this, he'll grab the nearest soft thing, usually some piece of clothing laying around. One time he tried to pick up the cat. My brother taught his golden retriever that when he said clean up she gathered all her toys into the toy bucket. She'd get the ones outside the house as well. She also knew his name, my name, and his GFS name, so if you said go get name, she'd find whoever you said. We'd play hide and seek with her like this. Damn. Meanwhile if you call my dog refrigerator in the right tone of voice she thinks it's her name. I take baths with my cat by letting her float in a plastic box. I keep the box in my closet. I only started doing this about a month ago, but now when I turn the bath water on she runs to the closet and jumps in her box. That's hilariously adorable. I wonder if your cat loves the heat that the bath water gives out. I believe so. It must be because the water is nice and warm. That kitty face though. I would playfully grab, not hard, really light, my dog's snout whenever we are playing. He somehow figured out it's my favorite thing to do whenever he comes over to me. So now, every time he senses that I'm upset or sees that I'm crying, he would come up to me and gently put his snout in my hand. Similar, I grab my dog's snout when she barks through excitement. Only lightly, she can pull away easily. Now whenever she barks with excitement, She looks at me and sticks her muzzle in my hand lol. If she's excited or scared of anything, laying with her snout in my hand calms her down too. The fact she does it to calm herself, my heart. I conditioned my cats to use the scratching post with treats and pets and lots of good boy. For the last 7 years, whenever I have to tell my one cat to stop chewing on something or anything like that, he goes to that post and scratches furiously looking at me like, but I'm a good boy. My cat just licks his post like a weirdo and scratches the couch. My cat licks a particular duvet cover I have. When that one goes in the wash he literally sits and cries. My mum, who doesn't even live with us, felt so bad for him, she bought me another one exactly the same, so he gets to enjoy it on the bed more often. Every morning when I wake up I rub my dog's belly. Now whenever I say good morning she will lay on her back for belly scratches. 1. She's crazy about carrots and pumpkin and I usually chop it on a wooden cooking board, so it makes a characteristic sound when the knife hits the board. Whenever she hears the sound of chopping, she bolts to the kitchen to ask for some. She only comes when it's carrots or pumpkin, any other vegetable, and she couldn't care less. 2. She waits until everyone had finished their meals to go eat hers. As soon as we leave the table, she goes to her bowl and eats her food. And when she's done, she turns it upside down to let us know it's empty. 3. I live in an apartment building, and the doorman always lets us know when there's visitors coming up, so when the intercom rings she goes straight to the door, waiting for whoever it is, and barking like crazy. She only barks for this specific reason. She usually sneezes to draw our attention instead of barking. There's so much more, but I won't linger on. But she's a good girl and I love her. Piggybacking off of you. When I was younger my mom and dad had every other weekend with me and my brother. My mom would let the dog into the room to wake us up. Our first dog was a wild golden lab who would not rest until we were awake by any means necessary. Licking, faces being laid on, and standing on our chest. You name it. Years later we had a second dog, and when I was waking up my mom tried that, but I would rub her belly as I was waking up. What ended up happening is she figured out that if she waited I would rub her belly for a while as I was waking up on the weekends, which could take a while, and she got really defensive of that time. Essentially I accidentally trained the dog to guard me from being woken up on Saturday mornings. That dog was super defensive of my mom, but she was even more defensive of me sleeping in on a Saturday morning. LMFAO, I love this. After my roommate got a cat, my dog answers to kitty 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 cause he wants love and or treats. Hahaha, he a little confused, but he got the right spirit. Dogs be like, I hear potential for love and treats in your voice. I'm a common, amazing, beautiful babies. My dog reacts to the PS sound. The budgie had a broken leg in a little splint. He would climb to the roof of his cage with just his beak and good leg, then let go of his beak and hang by one leg, then just stare at me. He knew I would stick my hand in, and he could just fall off into my hand. He only did this when I was around, because I was the only one who would stick my hand in. I can imagine him doing it with someone else, keeping eye contact, only for them to watch this bird hanging, and then dropping himself to the floor. My ex had a parakeet with the most personality I have ever met in a bird. The bird used to mimic the sound, that beep boop sound that an Android makes when you plug it in the charger, and knew that meant it was time for bed. So, whenever the bird was tired, it would make that noise, because that meant it was time to sleep. It mimicked it so perfectly that I found myself checking my phone whenever it was nap time for the birdie. I miss you, pistachio. If he hears me on the phone with my sister, it's automatically time for a walk. We usually chat when I take him out, and he is now very aware of that. Also, outside clothes and putting on makeup means I'm going out probably without him. If I take my backpack I won't be back until after work. He's happy that hasn't happened in a while. My dog recently realized that when I put a mask on it's time for a walk. Mine too. She used to just get excited when it was a jacket, sneakers, and ball cap, but now she sees that mask, and it is WALKIS. My cat drinks out of a glass on my nightstand, rather than a bowl. A couple of years ago, she was having some pretty serious dental issues, all fixed now, and was being reluctant to eat and drink. She had always wanted to drink out of the water cup I had for myself, and at that point I just wanted her to drink anything, so I let her. That was my mistake, and now she refuses to drink out of a bowl on the ground and will only drink out of cups. She has a permanent cup on my nightstand to this day. Oh well, at least it's easier for me to monitor her water intake. Why are cats like this? Well, I did hear that cats in nature don't drink near their killers. That water could be contaminated by the corpse, so that might have something to do with it. One of my cats, Snart, demands that we give him his food and water in his own bowl and his own cup. Not just that, but we experimented with it and found that the little bastard pays attention. If it's something we don't eat out of, like a Tupperware container, he'll meow until he gets the same kind of bowl we do eat out of. If we give him a little bowl of water, he knows we don't drink water out of bowls but out of cups. We changed his bowl to the 4 other style of bowl we have, and each time he meowed louder and louder until we gave him the widest, flattest cup we owned. He drank out of it and spent his evening fighting off the other cats trying to drink from it. Oh, and he will do his best to lay down on human clothes. Bedding we bought specifically for cats? Nah. A nice puffy blanket fresh out the dryer specifically for him? Course not. Am I nuts? A t-shirt I left on the ground accidentally? A pair of old socks that are just long and wide enough for him to lay down on? A super wet and cold jacket because it was raining hard out? You bet your ass he'll be on it by the end of the minute it hits the floor. I think he knows we live better than cats normally do, and he wants in on the club. My wife and I have pretty set sleep schedules during the week. If we stay up later on the weekend or w/e, our dog gets very huffy/offended and will sigh passive aggressively at us until we go upstairs to bed. Oh, and if one of his bowls is empty he licks it, also passive aggressively, and then makes direct eye contact. Oh god, yes, that passive aggressive sigh. Our dog used to sleep in front of the bedroom door, in the corridor between bedroom and toilet, and when you had to go at night, boy, frick off, followed on his part by exaggerated getting up, this deeply annoyed sigh, and, I swear, an eye roll. Was it a boxer? My cat meows twice, like bless you when I sneeze, and I say thank you back. She started doing that on her own. I stopped saying thank you a few times and now she won't stop yelling at me until she knows I'm okay. Sweet cat. Wants to know you are okay and to mind your manners equals. I trained her well. I talk to myself constantly, so my cat thinks it's normal to walk around making chatty noises all the time. If he's awake, he's talking. I think it's adorable, but it drives my husband nuts, which has resulted in my husband yelling at him a lot. Don't worry, the cat doesn't get upset. Now the cat thinks that's just how my husband talks, so whenever he sees him, he yells at him really loudly in order to imitate him. My husband will walk in the room and my cat will stop whatever he's doing and just meow so loudly right in his face. It's absolutely hilarious. Dude got exactly what he deserved. Had a great cat 10/10. Lately my cat Houston has been sitting on a box in the kitchen and makes noise at every who comes in the kitchen. I talk back to him by either repeating the noise, asking him how his day was, or saying hi Houston. Tell him that we have a problem. When my dog was a puppy my dad used to give her the last bite of his breakfast sandwich every morning, so she learned to sit next to whoever was at the head of the table eating at 8 AM every morning. Sadly my father passed from brain cancer a few years ago, so I feel bad to see her sit there and wait for the sandwich that isn't coming. You're evil for sharing this, because I want you to have your dad back and the puppy to have her breakfast. Also, who cut onions? Sorry, I was just preparing for the burgers. Can you get the ketchup and mustard from the fridge? My kitten will aggressively headbutt my face every night before bed, 4 top of head kisses, before she goes to sleep. My old cat learned by watching my and I to give 4 head kisses and hold hands as a sign of affection. So now he will give you his forehead and give him a kiss, and then you have to let him kiss your forehead. And at night he will hold your hand and sleep next to you through the night. This is so precious. My cat will open the tray to my box when he thinks I've been playing too long. Even if I just started, my cat will turn off my box. I had to move it so he couldn't get to the button. It was infuriating to be in the middle of a game and be just shy of the end of something and suddenly, boop-de beep. My cats like sitting on the couch with me. Sometimes they'll cuddle on my lap while I play games. So, they'll occasionally turn my box on and hope it causes me to sit on the couch. One of my cats has a favorite toy that he brings me sometimes, and when he does I praise him for his catch. Now either I've trained him into thinking he has to bring it to me to receive affection, or he's trained me into recognizing when it's okay to give him affection. Or a little bit of both, and it's just a little nice communication tool. OMG, he just associates it with feeling love towards you. He's like, this is what I do when I want cuddles. Not sure how it happened, but my dog will run to nearest window, stand on his hind legs, and look outside frantically if I ask him who's here. This behavior also occurs when there is a knocking sound, whether it's on the TV or at the door. I roll. If no one is there he will whine. If it is someone he knows he will get excited. If it's a stranger he will growl. Best guard dog buddy. Happy cake day sir or ma'am. They are a banana. Happy cake day banana. Get wet food at 4 AM every day. I wake up early during the week and feed him wet food right away. Of course he doesn't care that it's the weekend. His internal alarm clock is down to minute with precision. And because he's a cat and an asshole, if we don't get up and get his food, he howls loudly through the house, opens shutters, walks on our faces, nudges our noses with his nose. He's so relentless it's not even funny. But we love him. You're his butler after all. He pays you, you must obey. Dogs are our pets and companions. We are our cat's personal servants. My dogs know the sound of the drawer the cheese is kept in the fridge. They could be asleep in a completely different area, but if you open the cheese drawer they come running and sit like good boys for their cheese. They are herding dogs and will also herd the cat away if she won't stop meowing at me when I'm busy, or if she tries to scratch anything. I had to check to see if you were my housemate. All 4 of the dogs we have are very different, but the one thing they all have in common is being summoned by the cheese drawer.